We got the go-ahead from the BBC whilst at our headquarters in the French Alps, so we threw our lives into our 306 and raced back to Britain to get started. As we drove, we brainstormed. Ideas ranged from doing a local's guide to the real Britain with Eddie the Eagle, hosting a beat the goalie competition with David James, and selling retro bikes to hipsters. In the end, we decided to head to London to create a deals booklet for local restaurants, cafes, and bars, in an attempt to help drive them more custom from their conglomerate competitors. The print advertising and food and drink industry were things that we knew nothing about, so we were looking forward to a good challenge. After a fry-up at a local cafe, we optimistically took to the streets of London, armed with just a smile and a prototype design to persuade local cafes to part with some cash and an exclusive deal. The next day, we had sore feet and a measly £25 in our pockets. It was also apparent that the city's restaurant owners were all away playing golf, so it was definitely time for a pivot. We tightened our focus and decided to make an ethical guide to eating in London. The clouds parted when, within just a few hours, we'd partnered with the Sustainable Restaurant Association, agreed distribution with the Observer for 89,000 copies to go into their food supplement, and honed in on Raymond Blanc for a celebrity forward. High fives all round. All we needed was to raise £3,600 from advertisers to cover the printing costs, and the rest would be profit. So we upped our prices, and restaurants came flying in. We quickly made £2,000 in revenue, and were looking at making £10,000 to £15,000 in revenue. And then came the rain. A misunderstanding over semantics blew our deal with the Observer, and consequentially the SRA and their restaurants, who, like us, understood that the booklet was going to be in the food supplement rather than a cheap flyer on it. With just a few days left until the deadline, we were back down to zero, but not out yet. We regrouped and quickly jumped on the blower to find a new distributor. A call to Darren at London's Blue Tomato food magazine secured us an editorial slot in their Olympic special and £15,000 worth of ad space to resell, all for just £1,000. With a readership of 150,000, it was quite a coup. That said, we had just Friday afternoon and Monday left to make that 1K, so back on the phones we went. Come Monday afternoon, it looked like we were going to make it. Just. The short timescales proved tricky for a lot of the restaurants we spoke to, but we came close, and after a few last-minute transactions, here's how we fared. We started with £100, and we brought in £800 in revenue. We renegotiated with the Blue Tomato and brought our costs down to £697.99, which means we made a total profit of £102.01 and £202.01 going back to Richard and Children in Need. And now we're off for a much-needed beer.